Hey guys, welcome back. I finally got the scale garage build video put together. I've been posting a lot of pictures of this on Instagram lately, so if you don't follow me there and you want to, I do post a lot more there than I do here. So I have a link down in the description to my Instagram, but let's just jump in on the video. So I started with 1/2-inch foam board, and the first thing I did was cut them to the height that I wanted the walls to be. After that, I started tracing out where I wanted the windows, garage door, and doors to be. And once I had that in place, I decided to start getting some detail on the walls. I wanted to go with cinder block walls. So you can see here what I'm doing is I'm scoring the foam board with a barbecue skewer, a little wooden barbecue skewer. And the objective here is to give the foam board a little bit of a texture and a little bit of a 3D effect to it when I go to paint it. And so I'm just creating scores where I want the cinder blocks to be. This process did end up taking a little while, as you can imagine, but I think it was worth it in the end. I did mess up here or there, and you can probably tell if you take a look in some detail at it. So the next part, I took a Sharpie and I just darkened up all of the creases that I made throughout the entire wall. And again, this took a little while as well. This is sped up pretty fast, but this is the finished product, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out, even at this point. But the next phase really makes it look, in my opinion, like a cinder block wall. So I spray painted the walls with 3 different color paints, basically a light gray, a dark gray, and a white. And I did it from a good distance away to try and give them a like speckled look. And then it was on to getting some of the detail work done. So I hopped onto my 3D software and I started modeling up a window to try and get in there and see what that looks like. I went through a couple renditions before I got something I liked, and then got it off onto the 3D printer. Once the window was printed, I traced it again onto the wall, make sure I had the right size cutout, and I really liked the way it looked, so I started modeling up the rest of the doors, the other windows and stuff. Got the cutouts done, you can see here. The longest process was really getting the prints created. After that, it was just a matter of getting them glued in place. So you can see here the door frames, the window frames, the garage door frame. And I'm happy with this at this point, but I think when it all comes together, it looks really nice. So the next phase here was getting the roof done. I wanted to do a wooden roof with exposed wooden rafters. So the first thing I did was score the foam board again. I came back through with a finer score to try and add some grain to it, and then I spray painted it brown. After that, I started gluing down my rafters. You can see here I used my jigsaw to put a cut into the end of the wooden rafters, and this is just wooden molding that I'm using from the local hardware store. So next up, it's time to start getting the scale garage assembled. So first thing, I started with the large wall. I just used hot glue, as you can tell here, to mount it to the floor. My floor I didn't actually show. It's just a 4x4 sheet of wood that I spray painted with a glossy gray spray paint. Nothing fancy there. The hot glue really holds well to the foam board, so didn't need much support to hold that one in place. The second sheet here I glued down to the floor, as well as glued it to the second wall, or the first wall I put up. Next up, it was time to get the roof in place, and so this is where that cutout I made in those rafters really comes into play. I was able to just drop some glue right on there and drop some glue across the top of the other walls, and that was enough to make it hold in place. And you can see how the groove lays against that smaller wall. It makes it look like it's kind of integrated together there. At this point, I'm just kind of going through, making sure everything's nice and squared up, adding some glue in where I see fit, where I can see daylight between some of the wood and the foam board, and making sure that everything's nice and secure. Next up, it was time to start getting some of the smaller scale details installed, starting with the small door on the corner here. Gonna take a minute here to remind you, if you like the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel. Again, I post to Instagram a lot more than I post to YouTube, so you can follow me there. I have a link down in the description. And also, I've been using that TikTok app to create just small videos, the crawlers and the scale garage doing what they do. So again, if you like the content, you can follow me on those other social media platforms as well. So now I'm starting to get the scale garage door installed. You can see my little helper there coming up to see how things are going. I have a lot of the small scale accessories I already created sitting around the garage here just to see how it looks. Alright, so now let's take a look at this thing finished up. So next up for the scale garage is I want to start getting some scale electrical accessories in there. I want to get some working lights in there, start running some wiring, get some outlets and electrical boxes put in place, and just start taking the scale aspect of the garage to that next level. So if you want to see that again, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.